friends, welcome back to my channel. So as some of you may know, I've been kind of a little bit overwhelmed with building at the moment. I took on too many big builds all at once, so I was thinking to get myself back into building, I would start a new series here on my channel where I do a few kind of tiny builds. I'm thinking of doing them all kind of different trucks, like food trucks, library on wheels and stuff like that. So for the first one today, I have made this adorable little cotton candy truck, and I absolutely love how it's turned out. I just think it's the cutest little vehicle ever. So this is my candy floss truck. On the outside, I kind of used decals to make these cute little fluffy clouds. So I felt like they went with candy floss because candy floss is fluffy. It's kind of like clouds, and I just think it looks really sweet. I went for the colour scheme of pink, blue and purple because I feel like these are very like candy floss colours and kind of pastel-y colours. At the front of the van, I made this beautiful decal, which I really love how this has turned out. So I have these three cotton candy canes, not cotton candy canes, cotton candy sticks, and it says candy floss, and underneath it actually says delicious and fluffy. It's kind of hard to read from a distance because it's very small, but I did just add a little slogan on there for delicious and fluffy. And then at the front of the van as well, I also made this tiny little menu decal, which I think looks so cute. So we have 3 different flavours of candy floss. We have strawberry, grape and bubblegum, which I feel like are very common candy floss flavours. But that is the outside of the van. I will just quickly show you the back, even though it's kind of plain. It just has a little window into the van there because I wanted it to have like a proper van at the front, so it looks like a vehicle, and then in the back it's a bit like an ice cream van kind of setup really. So I feel like this would be at like a carnival or like a fairground or something like that, and you can go over and buy candy floss from it. But let's have a look inside as well because I think the inside is so cute. So I'll just open the door to my candy floss truck here and step inside, and this is the inside of the truck. How cute does this look, guys? So I used all these little decals all around, as you can see, these little candy floss things. I got the inspiration for this from Feeberry when she did her ice cream truck, and I just thought they looked so cute, and when I came across these adorable little candy floss pictures, I knew I had to use them in a build. So that's where I got the inspiration from them from. But this is inside my truck, so I made some candy floss machines here. We have 3 different flavours of candy floss. We have the bubblegum one here, we have strawberry in the middle, and then of course we have grape here. And I think these actually look like candy floss machines because if you've ever seen a candy floss machine, it's like a big metal drum and it spins round and then you collect the candy floss on a stick in it. And I do think this is like the closest thing you could possibly make in Bloxburg without having an actual candy floss machine. So I'm super happy with how these have turned out. On this side I have the candy floss sticks waiting here to be put into the candy floss machine to make candy floss. I have all different flavours of the candy floss kind of syrup because I think they use syrup to make candy floss. And then I just have a washing up sink, of course. I feel like all food establishments have a washing up machine, and then a fridge. I don't really know what you'd store in the fridge, maybe more syrup waiting to be used or something so it doesn't go off or anything. And we also have a cooler box on top. I don't know why you'd need a cooler box and a fridge, but it just kind of filled in that space a little bit so it wasn't so empty. At the front of the truck I just have 3 little chairs, and then we have a dashboard. I also used a plunger to beat the gear stick, and then we have the little steering wheel to the vehicle as well. And I'm super happy with how this little candy floss van has turned out. I think it's the cutest little thing ever. I kind of think this will look amazing in like a town build or something like that, so you could add this to your town, or if you've even made like a fairground or carnival or something, it looks so pretty in it. But I'm super duper happy with it, and you can come and sell candy floss to your friends and just use these Ben's ice cream things as candy floss, and it'd be really fun to roleplay doing this. So I have done a speed build for this. It's a slowed down speed build, and I will be giving you guys kind of step by step as I'm going through, so I will be talking in it. So stick around if you do want to watch the speed build. If not, that's totally fine. Please do like and subscribe if you did enjoy this video. Comment down below with any future video ideas, and as always guys, a huge thank you for watching. Bye guys. Mwah. So I'm starting out by mapping out the shape of the van, and I'm going to make this 2x4, so it's going to be a very teeny build. And then I'm using a couple of dressers and tables to kind of make the shape of the front of the van to kind of get a bit of that kind of car shape to it. So I'm using 4 dressers and then a couple of these little tables. 2 of them will be turned this way and then 2 of them will be turned outwards because I will put some headlights in these. Next I'm putting some doors on the back of the van. I'm using some kind of sliding doors, so I feel like they're the most realistic to like ones you'd get on vehicles. And then I'm going to use some of these circle decals as wheels for the van. And I'm just making sure they're all positioned nicely. Next I'm going to grab some windows and kind of add some windows. So I use these kind of windows here. I do eventually move them down because I felt like there was a little bit high up that once I was inside there you wouldn't actually be able to see through the windows. So I just moved all of these down, and I'm much happier with the placement now. So next I'm going to start trying to make the candy floss machines. I'm using these kind of barrel things for this to get like the circle kind of candy floss machine. So I'm using 3 of these and I'm gonna eventually have 3 different flavours of candy floss, and I'm just trying to get them placed right in the middle of the counter, so that once I put the counter over it, they will be central. Next, I'm using these tiny little tables. I'm going to use some plants on these that I'm actually going to make look like candy floss. So I'm putting these tiny little mini sapling plants on, and then I will colour them candy floss colours in just a moment. And I'm just trying my best to get them placed kind of inside that circle of the barrel. It did take a little bit of faffing around and kind of moving things to get this to work, but I do think it gives a really good effect and just kind of makes this look a little better than just having the plain kind of metal bits as a candy floss machine. So once I'm happy with those, I'm just moving the counters back over these, and then I'm going to start colouring the barrels and the little trees to look like candy floss. At first I did do 2 pink candy floss things, so I was going to have 2 pink kind of standard candy floss and then 1 blue, but I do eventually change the middle one to purple to have an extra flavour. So the next thing I did is I used these towel racks over the window. I did this on the RVs that I made before on my channel, and I just really liked how it looks. It just kind of dresses up the outside a little bit, so I'm just putting it over to be kind of like a little kind of roofy thing over the window. And then I'm just colouring all of the windows to match this. I went for like blue and pink because I feel like they're very candy floss colours. Next I'm putting a smaller painting here, which will be a menu for my candy floss. And then I'm just colouring all the wheels black so that once you see the overlapping bits they don't look a little bit weird. I'm using a glass roof in the middle to create kind of a sunroof and then flat roofs on the outside, and I'm just painting all of these to match the actual van itself. Next I decided to change the colour of these little things over the window because I felt like it all was just a bit too blue and pink, so I decided to add some purple in as well, which eventually will go more with the build once I add the purple candy floss in. And then I use some of these tiny decals that I want to put some pictures in, but I do eventually end up changing these to look like clouds. At the front of the van I put this kind of big decal on, which will be the sign for my candy floss van. And then I'm just colouring these tables to blend in with the van itself. And colouring the doors as well. I decided to go with blue outside, and then eventually I do make the pink on the inside. I was going to go with purple at first, but I preferred the pink. Then I'm adding a few of these thin pillars on the corners just to kind of add a little bit more detail to the outside and just get a bit more blue on there. Now it's time to put some floor inside and start colouring the walls. I did try out a few different colours, but in the end I decided to go with blue. And next I'm colouring the floor. I wasn't really sure what colour floor I wanted to use, so then I ended up moving these little decals. So this is me making some clouds out of the decals, which I do think ended up looking really cute once I put the white in there. I do end up moving these around and making them look a little better at the moment. They're a little bit awkwardly placed, so if you just stick around in the video you will see that I do eventually move these. And then I was wondering if I wanted to make the van white and have different coloured candy floss things, but in the end I decided to change it back to the pink because I preferred the pink with the white clouds on, so this is me just undoing that. Back inside now, I added some curtains in here just so I could get an extra pop of pink. And I started colouring the counters. I decided to go with a white top and a pink counter. So now I'm just looking for a chair to kind of make the front of the van because I do want this to look like an actual drivable van, so I'm just putting a few seats in the front, and then I'm going to use some paintings to be kind of the dashboard and steering wheel. They do kind of overlap in this van because it's quite small and the long decal takes up 2 squares, but in the end it does look quite okay. And then I use the plunger to be the gear stick. I made all of the chairs white as well because I just felt like it kind of went with the theme. I didn't want to have more pink or blue because I felt like it would be too much. This is me going back to trying to work out the floor. I could not decide on a texture for ages, and then I'm trying to texture the outside, and then I decide to go back again eventually. I could just not make my mind up with colours and textures. Eventually I settled on actually using these little tiles from the garden update as the flooring, so I could do a kind of retro diner kind of vibe. It's a little bit of a struggle to get these under the chairs that I'd placed already, but I did eventually do it. And then I'm back on the outside apparently, and I'm going to put some shelves under the window just so I can put some stuff on there afterwards. It was a little bit faffy to do because of the decals. But eventually I did get the shelves on there, and then I just moved the decals back under there. So now I'm back on the inside, and I started painting these tiles. I went for white and pink with these. And then I decided to add a fridge in here. I figured they'd have some kind of use for a fridge in a candy floss van, whether it's to store like the liquid that they turn into candy floss, I don't know, but I had this empty space that I needed to put something in to cover that table that was on the ground, so I decided to add a fridge. And just to make the fridge look a little bit more interesting, I put this shelf on the wall and then put some cooler boxes on top of it just to make it have something on top of it, because I felt like there's too much room on top of it and it just looks a bit plain. So I think I eventually put 2 on here. Oh no, I just put 1 on there. I don't know why I thought I put 2 on. And then I painted this purple. Yeah, purple. I'm trying to remember how I built this, guys. Okay, so next I moved on to this side, and in the end I decided to put some more counters on here. I wasn't really sure what to put on these counters at first, but I did end up getting a little bit creative, and you'll see what I did in a minute. So first I put one of these cooler boxes on, but then I changed my mind, and then I had the idea to try and make it look like the candy floss sticks that you buy candy floss on. In the end I used this kind of reed plant, and I painted the sticks of it to be white so they look like the candy floss sticks, and I just placed them here and then put the counter back on top of them, and you could only see the sticks coming through. So this is me painting them now. I just made them white and wooden, put the counter back on top, but then I decided they looked a bit awkward stood like that, so I wanted to make them look like they were inside something. So eventually I ended up using some of those little boxes to look like they were inside it. You'll see me doing that just now. So I'm just completely covering the bottom of the sticks with the boxes. I'm just kind of placing them for now to see where they need to go, and then I'll move the counter back out to be able to place them easier without the sticks in the way. And then I'm painting these blue, pink, I think I painted them pink, yeah, so I'm painting them pink to kind of match the whole theme of the build. I'm moving those back over to my sticks, and I really love how this looks. It looks super creative. I decided to add a sink in here because I feel like all kind of food places need a sink for washing up and some washing up liquid, and then I use some of these bottles to kind of be different flavours of candy floss. I don't really know how it looks, but I just kind of wanted to add something in that space, and then I painted them the colours of the candy floss. So we have 2 pink, 2 blue, and then at the back I added purple, and then this is me going in and changing one of the candy flosses to purple. I thought I changed the middle one, but I changed that one. So that is all painted now. And then I added some of those little circle decals that I am actually going to put pictures in these ones. These ones are not going to be clouds this time. And I'm painting them blue to match the wall, so once I put the pictures in, they will just blend in, because I'm going to do some with invisible backgrounds so that it just looks like the pictures are on the wall rather than them being circular. Now I'm adding a couple of lights to the build just under where the actual roof is, not the glass roof. And I'm using some of these box lights as a headlight for the truck. Next I came out of build mode and I used some of these pink ice creams from Ben's Ice Cream, the strawberry ice creams, to kind of look like candy floss, and just put some of these inside the build. I did end up moving them afterwards in build mode because it's a little bit easier to place them then. But I ended up moving them over onto this counter instead because they felt a little bit messy on there. But I do actually move them again behind the syrup kind of things. And I left a couple on the front here to be ice cream to be candy floss that people had bought, not ice cream. This is not an ice cream truck, spookles. As you can see, I can move them around a lot. I could not decide where I wanted to put them. Eventually I moved these bottles forward and then put the candy floss balls behind, and I felt like this looked a little bit better. That one I just moved to the front because I didn't really know what to do with it. I tried to delete it in build mode, but you can't. And here I am fixing up the clouds a little bit. As you can see, I've put some of the decals in at this point after I came out of build mode the first time, just so I can see what they look like. And now that I've had the clouds all white, it's easier for me to work out how to make them look like clouds. They definitely ended up looking so much better after I did this. Before, they kind of look randomly placed. Some of them look a little bit like Mickey Mouse. I think they look so cute and go with like the fluffy theme of candy floss. And that is the finished candy floss van. Thank you for watching all the way to the end of the video, guys. Please do like and subscribe if you did enjoy this video. Comment down below with any future video ideas. And as always, a huge thank you for watching. Bye guys. Mwah.